Hey everyone, it's so good to have you back for this incredibly emotional story. After months of struggle and hardship, when life felt like it might come to a standstill, Keat's presence brought a new sense of hope. Tu Nha and her daughter, after facing so many setbacks, slowly started to find their way toward a more stable and promising future. But this journey hasn't been easy. Each step, each decision has been met with its own challenges and obstacles. So how exactly did Keat help Tu Nha and her daughter? Can they really find happiness in what once seemed like an impossible situation? Stick around and join us as we dive into this powerful and unexpected journey, filled with emotions and surprises. You won't want to miss it, and we'd love to hear your thoughts as we share this story with you. It was a peaceful morning, with soft sunlight streaming through the trees, casting a warm glow on everything it touched. Tu Nha and her daughter were sitting on the porch, laughing and enjoying each other's company, the sound of their joy filling the air. As they spent time together, Tu Nha's mind wandered to Keat. She couldn't help but think about how much he had done for her and her daughter. He had been a true support when they needed it most. Always there to lend a hand, always ready to help. Tu Nha thought to herself, Keat has been so good to us. How can I ever repay him for everything he's done? The gratitude she felt for him was overwhelming, and it wasn't just about the big things he had done, but all the little ways he had shown up when they needed someone. His kindness had made a huge difference in their lives, and it hadn't gone unnoticed. As the images of Keat's generosity and kindness played over in her mind, Tu Nha couldn't help but feel a deep sense of appreciation. She remembered the quiet moments when he had stepped in to help, never asking for anything in return, just offering his support because he cared. And that made her think about how she could repay him. The warm, peaceful morning was a contrast to the busyness and challenges they had faced in the past. Now things felt different, more stable, more hopeful, and much of that was thanks to Keat. He had helped create a sense of security for her and her daughter, a feeling that they were no longer alone, that someone was looking out for them. Tu Nha sat there reflecting on everything Keat had done and couldn't help but wonder how she could show him just how much she appreciated him. She knew it wasn't about grand gestures or expensive gifts. It was about showing him, in her own way, that his kindness had truly made a lasting impact. As her daughter continued to laugh and play beside her, Tu Nha felt a quiet peace settle over her. She knew they were on the right path now, and that Keat's influence had played a big part in getting them here. And while she didn't have the answer yet for how to repay him, she was certain that she would find a way, because the impact he had made on their lives was something she would never forget. It was just another ordinary day, the kind where everything seemed calm and peaceful, until the familiar figure of her ex-husband appeared. Nam had come to visit their daughter, something he hadn't done in a while. Lately, his work at the factory had kept him busy, but today he finally had the chance to stop by. As soon as Tu Nha saw him, however, her mood shifted. Her face hardened, and she couldn't hide the displeasure that quickly spread across her features. "What are you doing here?" she asked, her voice flat. Nam lowered his head, his tone gentle as he replied, "I came to see my daughter." But Tu Nha wasn't interested in small talk. She had no desire to engage with him. In fact, she knew why he was here. He wasn't just visiting their daughter, he had something else on his mind. Nam had always tried to sweet-talk his way back into her life, but she had made up her mind a long time ago. She wouldn't be swayed by empty promises or kind words anymore. Nam hesitated for a moment before speaking again. "I just wanted to talk. Maybe the two of you could come back, live with me again." I'll take care of everything, I promise. Tu Nha's gaze remained cold. She wasn't going to fall for it. She had already made a decision about her future, one that didn't involve returning to the past with him. Our daughter still needs her father, Nam continued, his voice soft but sincere. I promise I'll take good care of both of you. Tu Nha crossed her arms and stood her ground. If that's all, then you should head back to the factory and get back to work. I need to put our daughter to bed now. Nam stood there for a moment, as if he wasn't sure what to do next. He wanted to say more to make her understand, but he knew it wouldn't change anything. He had failed her before, and nothing he said now could undo the past. So, without another word, he stood up to leave. As he walked towards the door, he paused and turned to look at her one last time. In that brief moment, the weight of everything he was carrying seemed to press down on him. His eyes met hers, and in the silence that followed, he muttered, I'm sorry. With that, he walked out, leaving Tu Nha alone with her thoughts and her daughter, both of them moving forward in a life that no longer included him. At his workplace, Keat sat lost in thought, his mind wandering. He couldn't help but smile to himself, thinking, if I had a car, I'd take Tu Nha and her daughter out on more adventures. The simple thought brought a sense of longing, but today, he hadn't been able to visit them, and it was eating at him. His impatience grew with each passing hour. The scorching heat of the day didn't help his mood, but Keat pushed on, determined to finish his tasks. Sweat dripped down his face, soaking his shirt, but he didn't stop. Every drop of sweat felt like a small sacrifice toward a larger goal, a better future. His body was tired, but he knew that if he kept working hard, things would get better. He needed to achieve his personal goals, and this work was part of that journey. As Keat took a brief pause, his mind drifted back to something Tu Nha had said the day before. You look really handsome today, she had told him. The simple compliment made his heart race a little. He wasn't expecting it, but it meant a lot. It was a reminder of the connection between them, and it gave him the boost he needed to keep going, to stay positive even when things felt difficult. He wiped his face, looking out the heavy logs he was working with, knowing he still had a lot to do. The day was slowly winding down, and as the sun began to set, Keat finished up his work. The sky was changing colors, signaling that the long day was coming to an end. He took one last look at the task at hand, then wiped the sweat off his brow. With the work done, he quickly headed out, eager to visit Tu Nha and her daughter. He hurried along the narrow path, his steps quick with anticipation. When he arrived, he found them sitting together by the small table, just like before, peaceful, familiar, and comforting. Tu Nha looked up and smiled when she saw him. Are you here to play with the little one? Is there anything I can help you with? She asked, her voice warm and inviting. Keat smiled back, feeling a sense of calm settle over him. He had been thinking about this moment all day, and now that he was here, it felt right. How about I stay for dinner? I'd love to eat with you and your daughter, he suggested, his voice full of sincerity. Tu Nha's smile widened. She was always so kind, so welcoming, and Keat couldn't help but feel grateful for her. In this moment, everything seemed to fall into place. He was here, they were together, and for the first time in a while, he felt at peace. It wasn't about the work, the sweat, or the struggles. It was about these moments, the small, simple ones that meant so much more. And as Keat sat down to join them, he knew that no matter how hard life got, he had something worth fighting for.
Cũng là một buổi sáng yên bình, với nắng đã phải đối mặt trong quá khứ. Bây giờ họ có thể khác, ổn định hơn nhiều hy vọng, và phần lớn là nhờ Kiệt. Anh đã giúp